You have absolutely no idea who I am, do you?
Well, I like the show when it delves into some of the personal lives of our characters. So much of this kind of work, especially in a series like this, a show like this, it's totally an ensemble format, which is what it should be. You're a piece of the puzzle, and everybody is a piece of the puzzle, and you all contribute these pieces. So it's nice when you can sometimes have a little bit of the puzzle within the puzzle.
You got a second?
Sure, what is it?
We're called to go back to what turns out to be my hometown, which is Comac, New York. At least David Rossi's hometown. If it's okay, I'd rather stay behind.
Why?
It was a different life when I left 30 years ago. I'm in no hurry to go back. There's a lot of water under the bridge and a lot of sleeping dogs he'd like just as soon let lie, I suppose. I may be able to hit on some old contacts, but I'll need to do it alone.
Contacts?
Do we want to know?
It gets resolved in the way that probably most of those things do get resolved, in the sense that sleeping dogs do get laid.
Now, you're either a dead man or a cop. Which one is it?
Right now, I'm just an old friend. What I like about it, it's reminiscent in a way of even the old Spencer Tracy movie, Angels with Dirty Faces, where you find out that, you know, Rossi grew up with some guys that, you know, he went one side of the tracks and some of these guys went the other side of the tracks. And yet there's some common ground they find, and there's some collaboration in a way that comes down. I don't respect this guy for what he does for a living, but I respected him for the man that he was.
Most people never meet Basola.
Those that do only ever meet him once. If he smells a Fed, I'm gonna end up like the Duchess.
Now that would be a tragedy. This friend of mine ultimately pays the ultimate price for the lifestyle he has lived all his life. And it's something that I have to come to terms with. An old love interest rears its head, and a connection there, and how that this woman who I thought might have been a love of my life, perhaps, she had passed away in the interim as well. She always said we were doomed to be star-crossed lovers, destined to wonder what might have been. That's kind of what's interesting, is that you can't go home again. Time goes on, the beat goes on. I should have married her, though. I have to adjust to the changes that ultimately happen in everybody's life. And one of those biggest changes is you're going to lose people along the way. You have a family. When all this is over, what are you going to do to make sure you're not a lonely guy wondering why you let the purest thing in your life get away?
When we sat down to figure out what's the best ending that we can tell with the showdown between Hotch and Foyette, we weren't going to be satisfied unless the loss was deeply personal to Hotch.
I would hate to be Aaron Hotchner. Everything that could possibly happen has happened to him. He came home from that case in Canada with the pig farmer, and there's a man in his apartment who stabs him multiple times, and because of that, forces him to not be able to see his son for months, kidnaps his wife, kills his wife. The fact that he is still able to come to work every day makes him a better man than I would ever be. You know, I would be a raving alcoholic drunk at this point.
They said the Marshal Service is taking us straight from here and putting us into protective custody.
Really, I'm sorry.
In the beginnings of the series, it was all about discovering who Hotch is behind the badge, so to speak, because he plays this very straight character. And so I think that Haley and his son Jack were a way to bring in that softer side of Hotch. So throughout the seasons, you see the struggle that he has between maintaining his career, which he's very passionate about, to trying to maintain some semblance of family life and a nourished family life. And I think she also acknowledges that he's passionate about what he does and he's helping so many people that there's also that. She gets that.
We both know you and Haley didn't separate because you stopped loving each other. Your job just got in the way. Your team needed you. And despite this offer, I doubt that's changed. Maybe you don't need to retire.
Hotch stays because there's a scene in 101 where Jack is playing with two little toys, and he says one's the good guy and one's the bad guy. And his Aunt Jessica asks, who wins?
Daddy. No one beats Daddy.
For us, that's why Hotch goes back. Hotch is the guy who's out there fighting the bad guys and keeping his son and everyone else safe, and he wouldn't be Hotch if he wasn't doing those things.
Killed a random woman and kidnapped his kid, used the same truck. Not the brightest bulb.
No, he's been locked up for 11 years. He's out of practice.
That episode actually starts with myself and a deputy transporting a prisoner to be incarcerated. And so we were actually, as actors, in that car for about 13 hours. We had so much fun. I don't know, we were just laughing the whole time. And it's really dark. The truck crashes into us, the deputy gets killed, and I kick the windshield out and climb out after him, and I'm shooting, and the truck gets away. A couple of things happened doing that stunt. One, the majority of the crash is the truck is parked next to the car and pulls away as fast as possible while the special effects guys are throwing glass at us. 3, 2, 1. And we are reversing the action.
Ready, 3, 2, 1, glass, turn. That should do it.
And it was very tricky on the night, but we had to practice, all three of us, doing this completely unnatural swerve so that they could reverse the film and make it look like the truck hit us, when in fact it started on us and pulled away, which was really cool. I'd never done that before, where the guys are throwing glass at your face. And I actually had a camera on my head at one point, and I'm running up the hill trying to hold the gun in front of my hand so that you see my hand firing at the truck.
Ready, and action!
I'd never done that either. That was really cool. I looked like a cyber actor. All the kids are gonna be wearing this come fall.
All right, take a deep breath, Prentice.
Let's just do this.
It really is a journey for Prentice. We open up the episode with her chasing a bad guy. This horrible car accident happens. If she died, that didn't really matter to him. And it wasn't truly until Morgan helped her go through the cognitive interview that she could realize, wait a second, I should be dead right now.
And he keeps telling him to...
Put pressure on it.
On the bleeding.
You're gonna be okay.
Wait. He's talking to me.
There's a lot of blood. Put pressure on it. You're gonna be all right. Understand?
So at the end of Act 3, we've put together that Schrader's working with a good guy. And when they find him in his truck, Schrader immediately pulls a gun on Muller's head.
Drop it or I'll shoot!
What's wrong, Agent? You still upset that I killed your buddy? Did have kids like this one? Huh? Look at her, she's pissed.
It is unclear who actually shot Schrader.
How's your arm?
No! Hey, no! No!
Did Prentice get revenge on that guy? Or did Morgan do it to protect her? Because in this entire episode, he definitely showed his big brother relationship with her. And that's for you to decide, actually.
No!
It was that Muller went after Prentice. It made you think, oh, she's the one who did the shot. But in my head, it was Morgan who did it.
Hey! You just killed my family! You just killed my family! You killed my family! Stop!
Fight Strauss. I'll go to the mat for you, so will everybody else. You know that.
It won't work. Decisions like this have their own momentum. Unless I step down.
Step down? What are you talking about?
I'm resigning as unit chief at the end of the week.
What? Season 5 for me was a really big turning point as a character and as a professional actor.
I'm not leaving the team. I'm just no longer in charge. You are.
Me. For my character to be thought of in a light that could be a leader was a huge opportunity, but also It was a lot of pressure on Derek Morgan and on me. For me, Shamar, it was a huge, unexpected opportunity. Huge in the sense of, you know, I'm on a primetime show, and, you know, I've been blessed to have a 16-year career, and I've been slowly climbing the ladder and trying new things. I took it kind of as an audition. Whether that's what the producers or writers were doing, I took it as an audition for myself, and it was a hurdle that I wanted to get over.
Rossi, you and I are gonna go to last night's crime scene.
Actually, the girl's family's asked to speak to our team leader.
I loved the way that they built the story arc, that it wasn't just about my character being the head dude and Hotch having to step down as if he was being demoted in an inferior way.
Agent Morgan's in charge now. It's his show. Long story.
It was all in-house within the team, and it showed this unit camaraderie, anything for the team.
It's the only way to keep the team together. I need to know right now. Will you do this?
Can Derek pull it off? And the only way Derek's gonna pull it off is Shamar pulls it off. So I had to sit at home with myself and say, you know I can do this. And I was excited to do it.
What are we doing in Hall's office?
It's kind of not Hall's office anymore. It's your office.
Anything character-driven, I mean, those little nooks and crannies, you know, they're little delicacies that we crave.
Secret fun zone.
Woman, you have lost your mind.
That was really fun. The way that the set even is set up. There's his office, and the next door is mine. So there it is, Derek Morgan, and then this is Penelope Garcia.
Anytime you can show the human qualities, the human sides of us, that we're not superhuman, we're not made out of iron, it's nice, it's endearing, and hopefully for the audience it makes us feel real and touchable. So anytime we get that kind of life lesson through line, that compassionate through line through one of us, you know, that's the sweetness.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Thanks.
Risky Business is a big episode for JJ. We learn a lot about what happened in her past. She gets a phone call about these kind of weird suicides that have been going on, these teen suicides. So that strikes a chord with her, and we don't really understand why, but we learn that she has a very close connection with suicide in her own life.
When someone feels trapped in what feels like a hopeless situation, pulling the trigger or swallowing pills or hanging yourself seems like the only way out. None of that seems to exist here. Something's really wrong. Hotch, I can feel it.
I was really interested to read that because I know we all have skeletons in our closet, but I didn't quite know what my deal was. I thought, oh, maybe I'm the only normal one. I thought it was great. It kind of explained a little more to me as to why she does what she does.
We need to be very careful about when we release this information.
Sensationalizing these deaths may cause a domino effect with other kids.
I was actually really nervous about this particular episode. Nervous about the subject matter, I guess you could say, because I didn't want to be like putting ideas out there for people, and I wanted to make sure that it was almost like a public service announcement, you know, like try to get the word out to parents that, you know, stuff like this goes on. I didn't know this was going on. I didn't know this was a real thing, and someone actually showed there's like websites dedicated to this thing. It was unbelievable to me. And then also on the acting level, it's so nice when you get to learn something more about your character and get to have those just human moments on TV.
Hotch.
JJ, you don't have to.
I find that Hotch and JJ are like Batman and Robin in some weird way. Like I feel like I'm his little, you know, sidekick. And they just know, they have a certain language, and I think they just really, you know, have come to know each other in maybe a different way than the rest of the group.
My sister gave this to me when I was 11. She just came into my bedroom one afternoon and told me that no matter what happened, she loved me.
When I read it, I was so touched that they wrote this for me, and I personally immediately had a connection to it, and I was excited to do it. And, you know, acting with Thomas is When you get outside of the information and, you know, all that jargon stuff, it was so nice to just have a scene that was just human being to human being.
It's the last time I ever.
Sorry.
It was a beautiful moment for the both of them. I mean, Hotch doesn't say much, but he says so much in just the listening. And you think JJ is going through her own thing with her sister, but then at the end, she switches it to be caring and to help out Hotch.
It does get better, Hotch. Losing someone is never easy. But one day, you'll remember her and you won't hurt.
I thought it was really beautifully written, and I was excited to get to do it.
You'll be happy.
Thank you for everything. Garcia, I need you with us.
Sir?
I've tasked a satellite uplink, and it's your job to keep us connected.
Yes, sir.
She comes and is with the team, and she thinks it's sort of fun because they kind of get to camp out, you know. She gets to room with Morgan, and which they don't see. Dibs. We did not shoot those scenes. Those scenes were never written, but I think I have a flip camera, and I could get Shamar to do them with me like that. She thinks it's gonna be like, oh, like they're away doing bad guy stuff, which is bad and, you know, whatever. And I just get to be closer to them and we're like in this big lodgy kind of place. And then, oh gosh, she witnesses someone getting stabby, as Joanne Tanya would say. And she goes to try to save him and the guy basically dies in her arms.
Oh, oh. Oh. Okay. Hey, you're gonna be okay. My name's Penelope. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Just keep looking at me.
And her backstory with having been shot and the feelings that she has about what that experience was like and being so alone, she wanted to be there for him. And it kind of screws her up a little.
I want to ask you a couple of questions, all right?
No, I told you everything I
You
saw.
said the man's face was mostly in shadow, but there was also a lot of blood on it. You might have seen more than you actually realized.
No, cognitive interviews, breaking someone's death down to a science and statistic. That is your world, Derek,
Penelope.
not mine. I will help from mine.
And Shamar and I have this scene where we sort of erupt and break apart, and then we have this scene where we come back together. And it was so much fun.
Sucks, doesn't it?
What?
Just knowing that we couldn't have done any of this without you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I really love that episode because I think it pumps Morgan and Garcia's relationship to even more emotionally inappropriate, which I think there's not a bad thing about that. I think that there are relationships like that all over the world where it's like, you are the original fake boyfriend and you will forever be.
I kind of love you, Derek Morgan.
I kind of love you, Penelope Garcia.
I, honest to God, love the other 6 people I work with. I genuinely love them as people. And each one of them individually in their own way is so frickin' cool. Like, I'm the luckiest girl in the world. We're all hanging out in the fake plane and they put action and cut and whatever, you know, we're all still hanging out on the fake plane and we all genuinely like each other. And that, and it's delightful.